Rivers have always been the lifeblood of human civilization. Long before our modern cities, our ancestors understood that a river offered so much more than just a place to get a drink. While a lake holds water, a river is a dynamic, moving force. It is a highway for travel and trade, allowing boats to carry goods and people from one settlement to another with remarkable ease. This constant movement connected communities, enabling the exchange of ideas, resources, and culture across vast distances. The flow of a river was a promise of connection to a wider world, a stark contrast to the beautiful but isolated nature of a still lake. Furthermore, rivers are generous providers of fertile land. Each year, many of the world's great rivers would flood their banks, a seemingly destructive event that was, in fact, a miraculous gift. As the waters receded, they would leave behind a fresh, rich layer of silt. This dark, nutrient-packed soil was a natural fertilizer, renewing the fields and ensuring that crops would grow strong and plentiful season after season. Farmers did not need to worry about their soil becoming exhausted. The river itself replenished their most valuable asset, creating ribbons of green, vibrant life along its course and laying the foundation for permanent settlement. The constant, reliable flow of a river was also a source of power and a tool for ingenuity. The moving water could be channeled and directed. Early engineers realized they could divert small streams from the main current to water fields further away from the river's edge. This simple act of redirecting water was the beginning of irrigation, a technology that would allow societies to expand their agricultural lands far beyond the immediate floodplain. This control over water, this ability to guide its path, was a critical step in humanity's journey toward building large, complex societies that could support thousands of people. And so, it is no surprise that the great civilizations of 1181 CE flourished along these mighty waterways. In China, the Song dynasty thrived along the Yellow and Yangtze rivers. The Khmer Empire in Southeast Asia was sustained by the Mekong. In India, the Chola dynasty controlled the fertile Kaveri Delta. The Islamic world's great cities, from Baghdad to Cordoba, were nourished by the Tigris and the Nile. Even in the Americas, the people who would build the great Inca Empire began their journey in the river valleys of the Andes. These rivers were not just features of the landscape, they were the very heart of these growing empires. Across the globe, the year 1181 CE witnessed astonishing feats of water engineering, projects on a scale that is difficult to comprehend even today. In the heart of the Khmer Empire, in what is now Cambodia, lay the city of Angkor. Its rulers built a colossal water management system of canals, moats, and enormous reservoirs known as barays. These man-made lakes, some several kilometers long, were not just for storing water. They were sophisticated systems that controlled the monsoon rains, storing the immense volume of water from the wet season to be used for irrigating rice paddies during the long, dry months, ensuring the city and its temples were fed year-round. Meanwhile, in Song Dynasty China, engineers were perfecting one of the greatest public works projects in human history, the Grand Canal. This waterway was an artificial river, stretching for nearly 1,800 kilometers, linking the country's northern and southern regions. It was a marvel of logistics and labor. The canal was not merely a ditch, it featured innovative pound locks, which allowed boats to be raised or lowered to navigate changing elevations. This incredible system enabled the transport of grain, salt, and other essential goods on an industrial scale, feeding the massive population of the capital and fueling the empire's vibrant economy. In the arid lands of the Islamic world, from Persia to North Africa, a different kind of genius was at work beneath the earth. Here, people perfected the Qanat system. These were gently sloping underground tunnels that tapped into underground water sources, high in the hills and channeled the water for many kilometers to towns and farms in the dry lowlands. By keeping the water underground, the Khanats prevented it from evaporating under the hot sun. This ancient technology transformed barren deserts into green oases, allowing cities like Isfahan to flourish where they otherwise could not have existed. It was a quiet, hidden revolution in water management. Elsewhere, other cultures developed their own unique solutions. In India, the Chola kings built thousands of interconnected temple tanks and reservoirs to capture monsoon runoff, creating a decentralized but highly effective irrigation network. In Spain, Islamic engineers introduced the Noria, a large water wheel fitted with buckets, which was powered by the river's current to lift water into aqueducts that supplied cities and gardens. These diverse and brilliant innovations show a shared human drive to master water, turning it from a simple resource into the very foundation of power and prosperity. The farmers of the 12th century were not just laborers, they were scientists and innovators in their own right. Long before the formal study of genetics, they practiced a form of simple but effective crop breeding. A farmer would walk through their fields of wheat or maize and notice that some plants were taller, produced larger grains, or were more resistant to pests. They would carefully save the seeds from only these superior plants to be sown the following year. Over many generations, this patient process of selection dramatically improved crop varieties, leading to more reliable harvests and better food for their families and communities. This era also saw the spread of remarkable new crops that transformed agriculture. A wonderful example comes from China, where a new variety of fast-ripening, drought-resistant Champa rice was introduced from Vietnam. This incredible grain could be harvested in just 60 days, allowing farmers in the Yangtze River Valley to grow 2, or sometimes even 3, crops of rice in a single year on the same field. This agricultural revolution led to a massive surplus of food, which in turn fueled a significant boom in China's population and supported the growth of some of the largest cities in the world at the time. In the Americas, the people of the Valley of Mexico developed a truly unique and highly productive form of agriculture known as chinampas. These were artificial islands, or floating gardens, built in the shallow waters of lakes. Farmers would weave rectangular enclosures from reeds and then fill them with rich mud dredged from the lake bottom. The surrounding water provided constant irrigation, and the nutrient-rich mud created exceptionally fertile soil. On these chinampas, they could grow maize, beans, squash, and flowers year-round, creating a vibrant green landscape that could feed the burgeoning city of Tenochtitlan. This cleverness extended to how different plants were grown together. European monks, in their meticulously planned monastery gardens, practiced what we now call companion planting. They observed that certain plants seemed to help each other thrive. For instance, they would plant beans, which naturally enrich the soil with nitrogen, next to corn, which requires a lot of nitrogen to grow tall. This knowledge, passed down through generations, created balanced, self-sustaining ecosystems within their garden walls, producing a wide variety of vegetables, herbs, and fruits that sustained the monastery and provided medicines for the local community. These remarkable advances in water engineering and agriculture did more than just feed local populations. They were the engines that built and connected civilizations. The ability to manage water and produce a surplus of food was the key that unlocked the potential for societies to grow in both size and complexity. With a reliable food supply, not everyone had to be a farmer. This allowed for the rise of artisans, soldiers, priests, scholars, and rulers. It enabled the construction of magnificent cities like Angkor, Hangzhou, and Baghdad, which became vibrant centers of culture, learning, and trade. The very systems built to manage water also became conduits for commerce. China's Grand Canal was not just for moving rice, It was a bustling highway for silk, porcelain, and countless other goods, connecting the economies of the north and south. The rivers and coastal routes used by the Chola dynasty in India allowed their merchants to trade spices and textiles across the Indian Ocean, reaching as far as Southeast Asia and the Middle East. Food surpluses from the fertile river valleys gave empires the wealth and resources to build ships, fund expeditions, and establish trade networks that spanned continents. This interconnectedness fostered a wonderful exchange of ideas and technologies. The introduction of champa rice to China is a perfect example of how an agricultural innovation in one region could have a profound impact on another. Similarly, knowledge of water wheels, irrigation techniques, and new crops like sugarcane and citrus fruits spread along the trade routes connecting the Islamic world with Europe and Asia. Each culture learned from its neighbors, adapting and improving upon these technologies to suit their own unique environments, creating a global tapestry of shared knowledge about how to sustain human life. In 1181 CE, the world was a mosaic of diverse and ingenious cultures, each sustained by its unique relationship with water and the land. From the intricate canals of the Khmer to the floating gardens of Mexico and the hidden qanats of Persia, these systems were monuments to human creativity and perseverance. They demonstrate a profound understanding of the natural world, developed over centuries of careful observation and experimentation. These ancient marvels were not just infrastructure, they were the foundations upon which great civilizations were built, allowing cultures to flourish, cities to rise, and the world to become a more connected place.